Hello and welcome into today's edition of the Arizona State Sun Devils Insider Podcast. My name is Kevin Hicks, and I am your lead beat writer for the Arizona State Sun Devils on SI. And I'm so grateful to be joining you on this Sunday morning. We are several hours out from Arizona State losing a competitive game against the Colorado Buffaloes, yet it ended up in their performance early in the second half ended up being shrouded in what could have been over the final 7 or 8 minutes of the game. Colorado wins the game 78 to 70. Arizona State's offense once again kind of sputters late in the game, and there's not a lot you can do about it when you're confined to a 7 or 8 man rotation if you're Bobby Hurley. I mean, the what can you do about that? And Santiago Truitt was a game time decision. He ended up playing, but that was a decision that was made right before tip off, essentially. And he only played 20 minutes. He scored 0 points. Bryce Ford only played 13 minutes. Um, Mo Odom had to play nearly the entire game, and he had an exceptional game. But in the second half, it was Colorado really made adjustments around Tad Boyle to really put significantly more on ball pressure on Odom and to blitz him on dribble drives and everything to that effect. I mean, I kind of feel like the game went how I thought it was going to go, except Colorado came out on top. I mean, Bari Hargress, 23 points, Isaiah Johnson, 16 points. I wasn't expecting Sebastian Rankic to score 17, but I mean, 17 points, 11 boards, 3 of 5 from three. So Colorado had three players two of their three best players in the third really stepped up. Arizona State had the same. Mo Odom, 23 points, 5 assists. Masamba Job, 19 points, 7 boards. Anthony Johnson, 14 points, 2 of 3 from three. So the players that were expected to step up really did step up. I think at the end of the day, that Arizona State probably would have won if you got a couple of threes from a Noah Mayusin or a Bryce Ford or a couple of more second chance creation, second chance points created by a Diop or a Mukeba. At the end of the day, 8 offensive rebounds led to 18 second chance points, 10 layups, scored over a point of possession. So you didn't have a terrible, terrible, terrible game around the margins, but it just there are some things that are holding them back right now, and I think the most blatant of which is being confined to an 8 man rotation. Colorado was able to Colorado was able to get 10 players into a game or so, and Colorado is considered one of the weaker teams in the Big 12. Um, there's just a lot of teams in the Big 12 that have more players that are readily available to go, and that's a factor. Certainly is a factor. Um, they only led for 148 of the game, which is kind of crazy considering how well I thought they played. To honestly, they played pretty well at the beginning of the game. I mean, a lot of it was catalyzed by Mo Odom's sheer shot making, but they were able to stay in the game, and then they let it slip at the end of the first half, and then they came out in the second half with much needed energy. They went on a 10-0 run, and then the offense. wasn't able to generate the same amount of uh, explosiveness in the second part of the second half, and it is what it is. I think that the Sun Devils know at this point where the season is heading. I definitely wouldn't call it a lost season because I think that they still have a lot to show over the last 7 games of the season. By that, I really mean they, regardless of who's coaching this team and who's not coaching this team next year, there are two or three at least two or three foundational pieces on the team that this program has to gauge a little bit more of and figure out what they're looking at as far as a rate to retain them. Uh, all of that involved. I think Noah Mayusim, Samba Diop, and Andrea Grbovic are three players that they really need to fight to retain next season. And uh, last 7 games of the season, Tuesday, this coming Tuesday, Oklahoma State at home. Oklahoma State's coming off of a 38 point loss to Arizona. Then you get a whole week off. You play Texas Tech, who is one of the ranked teams in the Big 12. Tuesday, February 17th at Desert Financial Arena. That's a big opportunity to pick up a marquee win on the season, even if you are not going to reach the goals that you were expected to. I mean, at least expected to in mid-December. Maybe not going into the season, but I think that the hopes of a tournament berth are all but dashed unless they really go 6-1 to finish the season. So starts Tuesday, and like I said, 2 game homestand, and then you go on the road for 2 games against Baylor and TCU. Those are both winnable games. Baylor and TCU have both really had periods of time over the last few weeks of Big 12 play where they both have really struggled. And Baylor is really surprising because Cameron Carr and Tunde Yusufu are a very dynamic duo. Just I'm shocked that Baylor's struggling, and I think that's a winnable game for ASU. And then for game number 5 out of the last games left, you play Utah to close out February at home in your second to last home game of this regular season. And then you play Kansas, you host Kansas on March 3rd. That is hopefully going to be a chance for Arizona State fans to get to see Darren Peterson in person before the dynamic guard likely takes his talents to the NBA later this year. Also, a chance for Bobby Hurley to beat Kansas for the third time as Arizona State's head coach and really if this is the end, that makes the tenure full circle. It puts everything together. And then in the last regular season game of the season, they traveled to Ames, Iowa, and Hilton Coliseum to play the Cyclones, Iowa State Cyclones. That's going to be a game for sure. Iowa State's playing really, really good basketball. They absolutely blasted Colorado just a few days ago. Uh, we'll see how things go. If Arizona State's able to rattle off 4 wins, I don't expect them to go 6-1, but they can go 4-3, 5-2 over the next month or so. They might still have a chance. We'll have to see how things progress. A 4-3 record would put them at 16-15. That would probably mean that they need to rattle off 3 victories in Big 12 conference tournament play to realistically have a shot to make it to where they want to go. I'm not counting on it. I thought if they beat Colorado that they would have a much, much better chance of doing that. But it's not always in the writing, and um, I'm still going to continue to support Coach Hurley and the players. This has been a great group to cover, regardless of the results. This is really a season where you look back and you say, man, it could have, what if this one thing went different? What if this other thing went different? There's three or four things that you could point to. If that just went a little differently, this season could have been a resounding success to this point, but what can you do about it? It's just got to move past and be focused on going 1-0 in the next game. That's really all I have for today. Thank you so much for tuning in to another edition of the Sun Devils Insider Podcast, and I will see you in another episode tomorrow. Thank you so much.